Hey guys, Craig again. This one here, this is what we're going to talk about today, is about self-development. And when people, especially in relationships, they do a lot of inner work and they grow and they grow, and it causes so many issues in personal relationships. Friends and family, I'll explain that sort of different. But in personal relationships, we've got a couple where one person does the work and one person doesn't, or tends to sort of come in and do a bit of work and all that kind of stuff. So I'll explain it. A lot of relationships go belly up, and I will say that when someone does go down the path of self-development and very deeply, and they change so much, and they change so dramatically, and their identity changes of who they think they are or who they believe they are. It shifts so much, and they get to change. But what happens sometimes in the personal relationship is the second person, they may do some work on themselves. They may change themselves. But if we do not change the viewpoint of the other person, if we keep our view of the other person stuck in the past, then no amount of self-development will help that relationship, because this person's moved forward, this person's moved forward. But what happens if this person here still sees this person, though they have changed dramatically, sees this person here still as that identity that they believe them to be, then that relationship, tends to be doomed in a lot of cases. And this is what people sort of don't understand, is when you are working with a coach or some kind of therapist or mentor or something, or guide, something like that, when you are working with somebody, it's really, really important that you help people understand the nature of identity, how you help people understand the nature of the beliefs that they have where the relationship sits. Because I'm going to say, like my clients, is your relationship is not with the other person. It never has been. The relationship you've got with your partner is inside your head, and the version of them that you see based on who you think you are and what you believe them to be based on what they've done, or again, what trauma you're put into the relationship, right? So it's really important, if we're doing self-development, especially in the couple space, that if we're upgrading ourselves and our version of ourselves and identity of ourselves, we have to upgrade the version of the other person as well. Because if you don't do that, then what's going to happen is that you're going to find that there's judgment, resentment, and the relationship will go, it will separate, because one person has not moved with the identity shift. Because this person may now have been, it's coming into their confidence, coming into their self-worth, coming into their intimacy, coming into their abundance, all that kind of stuff. But if this person here still sees the person as this old person, then that's where the break lies. Is because even though this person's done a lot of work to shift who they are, it doesn't matter. So it's really important when you are doing like couples relationship stuff, or you are doing it by yourself, and you've got a partner at home who's not doing it with you, you've got to be very, very aware that it is, no one tells you this, right? Nobody actually gives you this insight when you do this journey of self-development, especially if you're by yourself. So be it. But when you're in intimate relationships with a couple, it's something you need to know at the start of any kind of journey of self-development, because if this person does not upgrade their version of you along with your upgrade, then it can cause some major issues in that they will not shift who they believe you to be, and that relationship will still stay in the past. They will still cause the fights. They will still call it, well, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. Even though this person has actually shifted who they are, that doesn't, and it can drag you down. It can drag you down, because you go, well, I've shifted everything. I'm in this place where I'm abundant and I'm loving and I'm caring. And this person's like, well, no, right? Because they haven't shifted their identity of you inside their own head. And please get this, right? You're not in a relationship with the other person. That person is in your life and they give you the capacity to experience love, but that's based on who you think they are. And that's where reality can shift and change, because as soon as you change your viewpoint of them, the relationship changes. As soon as you change the story of who you think they are, the relationship changes. But if you don't shift with their identity, if you don't shift where their self-development comes in, then you are sabotaging that relationship. And that's something you're going to be, any good coach, any good mentor, this will be the number 1, 2, or 3 things when they sit down with you and go, okay, let's do this together. Or, doing it by yourself. Be very, very aware that if you are shifting your identity, if you are in that self-development, if you are moving yourself into a better space, the other person in your life, if you want it to work, has to shift their view of you as well. If they do not do that, they will still see you as this old person. They'll see old problems. They'll still see all the other kind of things that haven't worked. And this is where people kind of get confused as to, well, I'm doing all this self-development. I'm doing all this work on myself, but nothing's really changing. And that's what I don't tell you, is that you may do all the work, but the other person in the relationship does not change their view of you inside their own head. That relationship stays, from their perspective, in the past. So you could be Jesus Christ, for all you know, right? Doesn't matter. You may have evolved into this, from your perspective, into this very, very healthy state. You change your habits, you change beliefs, you change your diet, you change your mindset. That you're in a really, really good space mentally, physically, and emotionally. But it makes zero difference if person number 2 does not change any aspect of their view of you in relation to them. Because if it doesn't do it, then it's still stuck in the past, and then you're still trying to fix things. And so when I work with people, especially in the space of, but one person's doing it, I really do emphasize this point, that bringing people in on the journey with you, bringing them in with this change in identity, because sometimes people don't want you to change because it's fear, they're scared, it's what's going to happen, will we, if this person goes this way, will they just leave me, all that kind of stuff. Like, no, just, step back a bit, take them on the journey, and help them shift their view of you inside their head. And that's really, really important. Again, a lot of people, do not tell you this. So when you start on any self-development or any journey of personal transformation, if you're in a relationship, you've got to take the other person with you. If you want to have some kind of healthy relationship, because you just can't rely on you doing all this work and expect the other person to see the difference in your life. They may see different aspects of it, but if they do not shift their view of you, their stories of you, their history of you, they do not shift that stuff, then again, the relationship is still in the same position, fraught with danger. So when you do this, I will reinforce it. Take the partner on the journey with you. It's a must, because they need to see the difference in you, but they need to then change the view of you inside their head. So then you can develop this new style of relationship. They can develop this new version of you. They can see you in a different light and different experience and different emotion. But without that change and shift in identity from the other person, then you're going to struggle. You're going to really struggle. This is where people kind of get, well, oh, you've just left me. You've gone and done the self-development and you've left me behind. That's because the other person's still seeing you as the old person. Or so be very, very, if you were going down this journey, going down this path, please, 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 if you're in a committed relationship, think of the other person and be open and honest and say, I'm going down this journey of self-development. I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to change as a person. I'm going to step into a different version of me. But I need you to come on the journey with me and start to see me in this new light, rather than seeing the old version. Because if the other person doesn't change that, then you're stuck in a lot of different ways. So I hope that's helped. If for anybody out there who's jumping on the self-development phase to explore themselves, to change themselves, and they're in a relationship, just be very, very aware that you need to help the other person shift that viewpoint as well, because you can shift your identity, you can shift your beliefs, you can shift your story very, very quickly. But if you don't assist the other person do that, then you've got problems there that may not necessarily be fixed. And then sometimes is where relationships do go separately when people don't do this personal development. It's one person stays where they are, stays the old story. One person shifts forward, and there's no communication backwards and forwards about the journey of this development in each other. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into one of the very, very first questions any coach or mentor should ask you when you start down this journey is there somebody in your life that's not in this journey with you, but we need to take on the journey as far as a partner goes to help them see and then readjust their version and story and identity of you. Because again, understand the relationship you have with the other person is not external. It's not, I'm not in a relationship with the other person. I'm in a relationship with my view of that person inside my head, which gives me the expression of love, sadness, joy, passion, intimacy, grief, all that kind of stuff. So and that comes back to, as I keep telling people and teaching people, is that we live in a world of thought. The only thing that does exist is thought. We live in the experience of our thoughts, not the experience of our circumstances. It's a Citibank thing. So just be aware of that. Take them on the journey with you. Okay. See you later.